Good meeting, hello kind people. There are facts we cannot overlook. The Piri Reis Map, a world mystery. Myths and hypotheses about an unknown southern land, Terra Australis, have existed since ancient times, long before human eyes ever saw Antarctica. The ancients were convinced of its existence. Ptolemy, a Greek astronomer who lived around 100–170 AD in the Roman province of Egypt, assumed that there must be a vast southern landmass to provide planetary balance to the large continents in the north. This hypothetical region, never seen, even had names. The term Antarctica, coined by the Greek geographer Marinus of Tyre in the 2nd century, referred to an imagined area opposite the Arctic Circle, and in the 5th century, the Roman scholar Macrobius included on his maps a southern territory called Australis, Latin for southern. Later medieval references to Terra Australis incognita, or unknown southern land, expanded these ancient theories, and maps created between the 15th and 18th centuries often included it somewhere at the bottom. In 1773, the ships of James Cook crossed the Antarctic Circle for the first time, but although they discovered nearby islands, they did not see Antarctica itself. The continent was first sighted in 1820 by a Russian expedition led by Fabian Gottlieb von Bellingshausen and Mikhail Lazarev. Antarctica remained largely unknown throughout the 19th century due to its hostile nature, lack of valuable resources, and remoteness from populated regions of the world. However, there is a map, or rather part of a world map, that remains a mystery to this day, the Piri Reis Map. The Piri Reis Map is a world map compiled in 1513 by the Ottoman admiral and cartographer Piri Reis. About 1/3 of the map survives. It shows the western coasts of Europe and North Africa, and the coast of Brazil with reasonable accuracy. This medieval-era map was discovered in a Turkish palace in 1929 and dated to 1513, yet it appears to show knowledge of distant lands beyond the areas explored by Europeans, and even depicts geographical features that Europeans could not have known in 1533, such as the Andes of South America and the coastline of Antarctica beneath the ice. The map, drawn on a piece of gazelle skin, is said to be the work of Piri Reis, a cartographer and admiral in the Ottoman Navy. Its remarkable accuracy puzzles scientists. Could the Piri Reis Map be evidence of an ancient but advanced seafaring civilization? Piri Reis cites his sources. When compiling his map, he consulted around 20 other maps, some dating back to the time of Alexander the Great. The cartographer notes his sources on the map, which he dates to 1513. But one fundamental question remains. How does the Piri Reis Map show the land of the icy continent without ice? And when did Antarctica actually freeze? After a brief warming and melting of ice caps, when Antarctica separated from Gondwana about 160 million years ago, it began cooling again. Until about 23 million years ago, Antarctica was largely an icy forest, and for the past 15 million years, it has been a frozen desert beneath thick ice about 1.6 kilometers. The continent of Antarctica was discovered in 1818, several hundred years after the Piri Reis Map was created. Yet the map shows this land without ice. This alone is astonishing, but there are more questions. The coastline of this land was unknown and therefore considered inaccurately depicted on the Piri Reis Map for centuries, until 1961. Then Captain Lorenzo W. Burroughs of the U.S. Air Force Cartography Division noted that the outline of this southern land corresponds to the actual coastline of the continent beneath the ice. How is this possible, given the limitations of geodetic instruments in the 1500s? One theory is that the map was created using information from older maps made before Antarctica was covered in ice. If so, this would be evidence of a far older and advanced civilization. A strange inaccuracy on the Piri Reis Map is that the southern tip of South America is connected to Antarctica. One theory explains this by suggesting that all continents once formed a giant landmass that later split and drifted to their current positions through plate tectonics. Theoretically, Antarctica may once have been connected to South America, just as shown on the Piri Reis Map, but in the distant past, millions of years ago, before breaking away and forming a separate continent. However, this would imply that prehistoric seafarers mapped this part of the globe with the capabilities of a highly advanced civilization. Piri Reis added notes to his map, stating, "It is learned from the Portuguese infidel that at this place the day and night are shortest, 2 hours, and longest, 22 hours, due to the tilt of the earth. Winter months in polar regions receive very little daylight, while in summer the sun never sets and there is constant sunlight." Piri Reis claims to have learned this from the Portuguese, yet no known Portuguese sailor ventured that far south in the 1500s. Strangely, he places this location near South America, far north of regions affected by polar winter. It is possible he simply added notes where there was space. Other experts suggest that South America may once have been located further south than it is today. Another feature of the Piri Reis Map is its accuracy. The coastlines of South America and Africa, as shown on the map, are surprisingly precise, within half a degree of longitude. The equator is also correctly positioned. Before the invention of the marine chronometer in 1790, sailors, navigators, and cartographers had no precise way to determine longitude. Yet the Piri Reis Map appears to have done so long before it was possible. The map also shows inland features beyond the coastlines. Even if navigators had sailed along the coasts of South America, Africa, and Antarctica, they should only have recorded coastal features. Yet the Andes Mountains of South America are accurately depicted, and even rivers are marked. Including such inland details suggests that Piri Reis knew more than just the coastlines of the continents on his map. Some experts claim that the Piri Reis Map is evidence that advanced civilizations existed on Earth much earlier than known civilizations. Others argue that it shows continental movement occurred more recently than geologists believe. There are also those convinced that the map is purely a work of imagination and that its accuracy is merely a coincidence. These people are beyond persuasion. No counterarguments work for them. They are the same who believe that the Earth is flat. Of course, there are also those who quickly turn to extraterrestrial technology. Perhaps we will never learn how the information for the Piri Reis Map was obtained, and this ancient portolan will remain a historical mystery in the future as well. But one thing should be understood. We are not the first, nor the only ones on Earth, to have some knowledge of its nature.